June is over, and we're not complaining because the White Sox won a series, and what they say is what you last showed is who you really are. So the White Sox, for the rest of the year, will go undefeated here on the CHGO White Sox postgame show. Presented to you by Bet365. Download their app today. Use code CHGO when you sign up. Bet $5, get $150 in bonus bets when you win or lose that $5 bet. Use code CHGO365 when you sign up with Bet365. We are coming to you live from Studio B of our CHGO offices here in the West Loop of Chicago after a White Sox winner. No one knows who that is. I didn't even introduce you. I'm Sean Anderson, the host of the CHGO White Sox postgame show. That's Joey Christopoulos.
Hey, what's up, everybody?
Just
Happy
say winner
Sunday,
again.
Sean.
No, just say...
Too early to say to hit the like button?
Say winner again.
White Sox winner.
Okay, there you go. Hit the thumbs up button. Make sure you're subscribed to the CHGO Sports YouTube channel. We are very excited to be here after not only a White Sox winner, but also a series
winner.
This is like my own...
That's all I'm going to be good for today.
My own drops.
That's
this is
all
great.
I'm good for.
And as Randy Parker in the chat saying comeback victory for the White Sox. This was a really difficult game to watch while Justin Verlander was in the game for San Francisco. The guy's 41 years old and he looks 29. 6 innings pitched, 5 hits, 1 earned run, 2 walks, and 3 Ks for Verlander. The stuff isn't 99 miles per hour like it used to be, but I think they showed a graphic on the broadcast where he had 22 pitches on the edge of the zone. He is one of the greatest pitchers of my lifetime, and even though it's a 4.26 ERA on the season, doing it at 41 is extremely impressive. So shout out to Justin Verlander, but then shout out to our guy Eric Miller, and shout out to our guy Ryan Walker, because those two men are the real MVPs. The Sox score 5 in the 7th. A fun inning there. Let's just take you quickly through it. Rojas lined out, then Tauchman singled to left. Maedroff singled to left with ducks on the pond. That's when I joined Joey to watch the broadcast. At that point, I was doing something else, taking a siesta, you know what I'm saying? Anyways, then Slater ran for Tauchman. Benny ground out to second, moving Maedroff and Slater to third. Walker then comes in. He walks Vargas, bases loaded. Then Teal, our guy, the real deal, Kyle Teal, double down the line, drives into 3-2 Sox lead. And then the ugliest thing you've ever seen from Ryan Walker, they call these guys professionals. He balks with the bases loaded, not bases loaded, but runners on second and third. And it's not even like a true balk.
Yeah, not a hairline balk.
Yeah,
it was the fully textbook, look it up in the dictionary balk.
It's like a poor first pitch. He forgets to release the ball, tumbles down the mound, 4-2 Sox, then Sosa hits a single to right, scoring Teal, 5-2. Sox win. Gilbert's able to shut down. Got a little bit hairy in the 8th. The bases were loaded, but then Vassell got a very clutch double play to end the inning, keeping the lead at 5-2. And Vassell shut it down at the end of the game. He was able to strike out Devers and then got another ground out to get a double play to end the game. 5-2 win for your White Sox. A very fun game, a very fun comeback for your Sox. The first run of the game was scored by a Benny sac fly. So let's move over to Saturday because our guy Andrew Benintendi had a really nice game. Sox win 1-0 on Saturday. They did drop Friday's game, but on Saturday, 1-0 win. Benny's able to hit a left-on-left home run off Robbie Ray in the 3rd inning. Great for him. In the past 100 games, 22 homers for Benny. We'll talk about in a second. But a part of that win, the shutout from Adrian Hauser, 7 innings, and the 2 innings from Grant Taylor. Absolutely electric stuff. This might have been Hauser's best start in a White Sox uniform. It's good to see that it's not just the Mets, back in May magic. Like, he still has that going on. There was the talking on SYN when Hauser finally returned to the Mets of how slim he looked. And Hauser has been able to keep his high performance up for the entirety of 2025 with the White Sox. Yesterday, on Saturday, 9 whiffs on 40 swings, not that great when it comes to a whiff percentage, but 22 called strikes for Hauser, a called strike plus whiff percentage of 35%. That is above league average of 30%. So a great start from Hauser. The biggest or most intriguing thing from this is Hauser is now focusing his changeup more than ever. It was a second use pitch on Saturday, 16 thrown, 18% usage. And if you look since June, it's been his second most used pitch behind that sinker, 37 thrown, 85 sinkers thrown, and then about 28 curveballs thrown. But that's been his main three. It typically was four-seam fastball, sinker, and slider when his first start was made. So they have adjusted to make him now a sinker, change-up curveball pitcher, and I think he's really settled into it. It's been a nice couple of games for Hauser, and he's seeming to move up that trade value list just with each and every start. The fact that he went through 7 innings, only 88 thrown, that's a real efficient outing from Adrian Hauser. Do we have to talk about Grant Taylor? I think I'll just honestly slobber all over this microphone, and I don't think we'll do anything conducive for Grant Taylor. Everything that we've said about Grant Taylor was proven true in that 2-inning outing. That dude is absolutely absurd, disgusting. If you have children, you should keep them away from Grant Taylor outings because I don't think it's safe for work. I don't think it's safe for children's eyes. 4 whiffs on 16 swings for Grant Taylor, but 7 called strikes for Grant Taylor. That's the exciting thing, is that he's not afraid to challenge people. When you go back and look at the single A performance from him last year before he ran into an injury, it was 18 strikeouts to 1 walk. The guy is not afraid 3-2 to just throw you a fastball right down the middle. See if you can hit 100. You probably can't. He's been extremely fun to watch. 35% called strike plus whiff percentage for Grant Taylor. You haven't seen a ton of breaking ball pitches involved or kind of mixed into his routine just yet. Only 3 thrown on 31 pitches yesterday, but good to see him throw 31 pitches. I know that most of us see the closer potential that Grant Taylor has, but I think there is also a starter in there. The repertoire is nasty, and if he can find the trust in that curveball, in his slider, he is going to be a really, really dominant pitcher, and it's about building up innings for him. The fact that he threw 31 pitches, the fact that he got 2 innings yesterday was absolutely fantastic. Sox take the series from the Giants. They win on Saturday. They win on Sunday, and Rudy pops in saying his Yankees are world beaters.
Good to know, Rudy.
Yeah,
thanks for
great,
coming in
Rudy.
the chat, buddy.
Nobody cares about New York. Thank you so much for your insight that nobody asked for. Oh, hey, they played the San Francisco Giants, right? Who don't play in New York and haven't played in New York since, I think, the 50s.
I think
Post-World War
Rudy's
II.
a little scared of the White Sox.
I think Rudy is hammered. Anyways, let's get into the news of today. Before today, the White Sox were mulling the decision of whether to put Luis Robert Jr. on the IL or not. My last postgame show was on Wednesday. Robert got pinch hit for by Austin Slater in the first inning. It seemed weird. It was a hamstring pull. And then on Sunday, we finally get that he's too hurt and has to be put on the IL. It is retroactive to, I believe, Thursday or Wednesday, depending on what counts. He played on Wednesday, so I don't know if they can retroactively say he was hurt. But retroactively to Wednesday or Thursday, so it's 10 days from that. But it's a pretty dismal situation. The White Sox, if they do want to move Luis Robert Jr., they are going to, I think, need to eat all of his salary to get something intriguing for the rebuild. And if Chris Getz is truly motivated to the future, and he said on CHSN that this is going to possibly be a 5 to 8 year project, if they're planning to spend $75 million on this team, they can eat the remaining of Luis Robert Jr.'s 2025 salary. If you're expecting to pay him for 2025 going into the year, you just kind of have to, I think, give into that. I think you have to make this buy-in price so easy for teams to try to get some sort of feeding frenzy for Luis Robert Jr. There are some sellable pieces or sellable things about Luis Robert Jr. 20 stolen bases. I think he's at 9 home runs this year. Positive defensive player in center field, but the red flags are pretty immense. I mean, he's a player that has a pretty extreme salary for his production, and the production's been worse than Michael Taylor. I mean, you can compare him to Michael Taylor when you talk about speed and defensive ability. Robert's got a 65 weighted runs created plus. Taylor's got an 83 weighted runs created plus. I don't think he, has that same cachet and value as he used to. And it's just a dismal situation because I feel like he is an easy person to root for. There have been some scenarios where he's been benched, whatever, but for the most part, there haven't been any horror stories about Luis Robert Jr. You don't really hear them saying, oh, he needs to add weight during the offseason. Like, the dude is a healthy 27-year-old. And it just sucks that he's had such an unfortunate run of injury after injury to not be able to build that into the major league career that we all thought it was going to be. And this injury, for some reason, it's just kind of leaving a bad taste in my mouth. Like, I want this to be done with. I'd like Luis Robert Jr. to be gone, and I hope he has a really nice career on some other team. But I don't care if the White Sox win or lose that trade. As long as 88's off the team, I'm going to be happy. I don't want to watch him play baseball anymore. I don't want to go through the Luis Robert Jr. experience of, he's hurt. Maybe he comes back. Oh, he's hurt. Like, the amount of joy and excitement I had in spring training was immense, untouchable. They should have just traded him then, so I could have just moaned and bitched. But now I'm just going to moan and bitch for no reason. This guy just sucks. There's no salvaging this opportunity, I think.
Well, I was going to say, in terms of salvaging, do I sound insane that the guy that you just mentioned a couple minutes ago,
Yes.
would it behoove Chris Getz to maybe now try and package Adrian Hauser and Luis Robert Jr. together to try and maybe salvage some of that value that you're talking about that has diminished over the last, since the beginning of the season?
You need to know that that the teams are equally interested in Hauser and Robert. The White Sox need to maximize every single trade piece, and packaging them is what works on MLB The Show when you're trying to trick the computer to getting a top 100 prospect and you're dumping salary because you know you're going to sign Kyle Schwarber to a 10-year, $300 million deal. I don't think that is typically what will work. I think that Hauser being under $1 million is a extremely sellable piece to any club. So I think that you would need to say, hey, Hauser for under $1 million, this is a starting pitcher that can get you to October, and at least, if you want to move him to the bullpen, maybe he can give you some length in some games you're down. Like, Hauser is a sellable piece on his own, and a team that needs Hauser definitely won't need Robert. I think just for those teams, the Phillies, Mets, Dodgers, whoever are interested, Reds, if they're possibly still interested in Robert, you need to eat the cash just so it is a feeding frenzy. Because if you're giving the Dodgers the opportunity to just take a guy no cash, like that, I think will get teams possibly in on Robert. I don't think that packaging them in most scenarios would make sense. Maybe Savale and Hauser, you could package together and say, like, hey, for $9 million, you get 2 starters. Maybe that could be intriguing, but I don't think that you could just, kind of nudge the interest bar over just by adding Hauser.
Well, Hauser ain't going back to the Mets.
Yeah.
So there's that.
No, he's not going back to the Mets. Why? Was there the story?
No, you mentioned in terms of packaging, and then you mentioned the teams that would be interested in Luis Robert Jr. And then, he ain't going back to the Mets.
He ain't going back to the Mets. All right. Anyways, let's get into Robert real quick. What's that going to cause? I think it means Brooks Baldwin's going to be called up. He was not in the Charlotte lineup today, and I think we're going to see Brooks return to the major league level. What I've been talking about with Brooks and why he hasn't been called back up to the major league level, you've been seeing a ton of Slater, Tauchman, Taylor, etc. Why haven't we seen Brooks Baldwin? You even see Vinny Capra. If Brooks is able to play middle infield, why are we seeing Capra? I think this is because we want to move Baldwin to center field. I think once Robert's off the roster, outside of Michael A. Taylor, there really isn't a defensive center fielder on the roster unless you want to stretch Dominic Fletcher's little legs out there. I think Baldwin is their best option at center field. 12 games started in center field for Brooks Baldwin, 1 in left field, so 13 games started in the outfield for Baldwin in AAA. Then he has 8 at second base, 5 at third base, and 2 at shortstop. So the majority there have been in the outfield. The large majority have been in center field. It seems like that's going to be Brooks' spot, and now that Robert's gone, I think you'll see Brooks here for 6 to 7 days. We got to take a break here in a second. What did Joey P say? The screen's blocking it. I'm not mad at Chris Getz these days. Yeah, I mean, there's nothing really that he's done wrong. He's been handed a terrible situation. So if you are judging Chris Getz immediately, nothing's going to look good. I mean, he's got an atrocious record since taking over, but who wouldn't? I don't think there is a way to salvage this in this short of a time span. So what you can look at is, the major trades and, hey, Kyle Teal, 2-3 hit games in the past 3 games. That'll help. The one thing, though, that it made me a little sick, Mark Carman said, oh, that Kyle Teal, Garrett Crochet trade's not looking that bad. I'm going to yell at Mark Carman a little bit.
Reality spray.
I'm going to scream at him. Did you know that Garrett Crochet currently has a 3.7 B-WAR? Do you know what he had last year, Joey Christopoulos?
I'm going to guess 2.8 for the season?
4.1.
Oh,
so
he's already there.
But right, yeah, he's already there. And he's leading the league in games started, innings pitched, and strikeouts, and K per 9. And I'm going to throw up. We're going to take a break so I don't throw up. We're going to take a break because I'm getting sick. I hate talking about Garrett Crochet because it makes me sick. We want to let you know about our friends over at Sunnyside Cannabis Dispensary, a place for judgment-free cannabis shopping, a place where expert bud tenders can help you if you're a novice and if you are somebody who has explored cannabis before. They have over 100 strains for you to choose from. They have easy online ordering and in-store pickup so you can get in and out with your order. And the best part, they have locations all across Illinois, whether you're in the city like River North or Wrigleyville, and in the suburbs like Champaign and South Beloit. The easiest place for me to go to is Elmwood Park. It's just outside the city. You know, you don't have to deal with the city traffic. 90-94 is a mess. Just go west, huh? That's a band, right? That was a band. Go West. Yeah, there you go. All right. That's your Go West mention of the day. Visit Sunnyside.shop for Bite Buys every day, including 50% off your first 3 online purchases. Enter promo code HICHGO at checkout to qualify. Existing users use promo code CHGO50 for 50% off one Cresco Lab branded item. Sunnyside Cannabis Dispensary, Bright Buys every day, only for 21 plus or Illinois medical card holders. We also want to let you know about our friends over at Empire Today. 588-2300 Empire Today. We got Joey. You got to harmonize, buddy.
I didn't warm up.
Just gotta, come on. You just either got golden pipes or not. The best part about Empire is they are golden. They are professionals. If you are remodeling your home, you can trust Empire to take you from picking out the floors with a free in-home estimate to having professionals by the next day installing the floors into your home. You don't have to do the messy work at the big box store trying to beg for help to get all of their samples. There's too many options to choose from. The people at Empire have a curated selection. They know what will They will know what will look good in your home, and they can show you those samples in your home with a free in-home estimate. Head over to EmpireToday.com/CHGO for full details on a $350 off discount. Use a promo code CHGO for $350 off discount with EmpireToday.com. Back here on the CHGO White Sox postgame show presented to you by Bet365. We are excited to be joined later in the show by our pal Mark Carman. We'll also talk about Colson Montgomery, as I see Ian mentioned Colson in the chat. We got to talk a little bit about, if we're talking about Robert and them eating salary, let's quickly talk about Andrew Benintendi, who over the past 100 games has been pretty watchable. I can't lie. As the number one Andrew Benintendi hater out there, very proudly number one Andrew Benintendi hater out there, his past 100 games have been extremely watchable. Since August 4th, 100 games, 22 home runs. His weighted runs created plus 128 compared to the other players with 400 plate appearances or more since August 4th. He is tied for 33rd in the league, just tied with Marcell Ozuna, Kerry Carpenter, Fernando Tatis Jr., Teoscar Hernandez, and just above, guys like Spencer Torkelson, Gunnar Henderson, and Jeremy Pena. So he's been pretty good. He's been a top 40 hitter in baseball since August 4th. Slugging percentage plus, again, that's similar to weighted runs created plus, just for slugging percentage specifically, he's 26% above major league average, and that's mainly because his pull percentage has been so high, nearly 50% pull percentage for Benny. Since August 4th, we have seen a really different player from him, and it's the same thing that happened with Gavin Sheets. They stopped going the other way, and they started pulling the damn ball. It's the same thing we've bemoaned Andrew Vaughn for as well, and now he's in Nashville playing third base for some reason. It's, ball in air, team goes far, and if you are pulling the ball in the air, you're more likely to hit home runs. The White Sox have struggled to hit home runs. Benny was struggling to hit home runs. He's finally been able to figure that out, over the past 100 games. It's been exciting to watch. He had an RBI today that gave them that one run. Even if Teal just drives in that double, it's a 3-2 game because of Benny's sac fly. He's been a usable piece. Now, is a 128 weighted runs created plus good enough for a designated hitter? Yes, but is this the best that we're going to see of Benny? I don't know if you even eat the remaining of his salary, which is about $50 million. I mean, we're talking about them possibly, barely eating $7 million on Robert. It seems like a really big stretch for you to ask a team to take on the other 2 years of Benintendi being at, I think, 17.1 and then like 14 million. I do not see, even though the production has been good over the past 100 games, the fact that you can't play him in left field, the fact that he is just a designated hitter, I don't see him being traded at the deadline, but maybe weirder things have happened. All right, Mark Carman will join us likely after the break. So let's talk a little bit about Colson Montgomery. Our guy Ian from across the pond saying, I see Colson has another bomb in Charlotte today, had quite a week, and the pitcher got an immaculate. I don't know what he's talking about with the immaculate inning. We're talking about Colson Montgomery, though, so let's jump into that. Since 5/13, Colson Montgomery in 29 games, not including today, 270 average, 349 on base percentage, and a slugging percentage of 550, 6 home runs, 9 doubles, 2 triples. He has 36 strikeouts to 11 walks. It's been a very good 30 games for him. And we were talking to Keith Law, James Fegan, and our guy Jeff Ponce from Mystery Guest Day about like a couple Thursdays ago. Colson was taking a little bit of a dip, so I was like, hey, any interest in Colson post Arizona? And, it was in a lull, so there wasn't much excitement. But Colson has turned things back around again, nearly a 900 OPS plus, or nearly a 900 OPS. And what has really been shown in those 29 games and is shown in his 30th game today, if you want to go to the stat that I tweeted out, the biggest bright spot of Colson's post-Arizona is versus velocity, versus 95-mile-per-hour pitches, 54 pitches, a 400 average, 500 on-base percentage, 800 slugging percentage, 94.1 mile-per-hour average exit velocity, 16-degree launch angle, 198-degree average feet. Most of those balls are pulled, but the one thing I did look when he was on his pitch heat map, where you can kind of see where he's pitched at, a lot of that velocity is going out and away. So you can see, when you do see the spray chart, you could see a home run to left center. Now on the screen, you could see a couple singles to left center. There's a double back up the middle. He has done a good job of, hitting it where it's pitched. And today, against a 98-mile-per-hour fastball, he turns and burns on a home run. It is easily his best AAA home run yet. It is exciting to see him, over the past 30 games, not look like dog crap. Like, is he a top 100 prospect, and should he be? I think so. I think he should probably be, back 20s. He isn't a failed project. He has not made it to the major leagues, so I don't think you can call him a failed project. It's been an extremely bumpy ride for him, but you look at the 272 pitches before the swing adjustment in Arizona, and it was extremely ugly for your guy Colson Montgomery. And my tweet won't load. He had a 111 batting average against pitches, 153 batting average against pitches 95 miles per hour above, a 306 on base percentage, and a 203 slugging percentage, 91 mile per hour average exit velocity. The launch angle was about the same, but about 40 feet on average less he was hitting the ball. So it's exciting to see the change. People are saying, our guy Ellie mentioning promote him now. I don't think that he's going to get promoted now. I think if they are going to call him up, I think it'll be post All-Star break at this point. I think they want to see, from July until the All-Star break, this continue and not see another slide, because just about a week ago, Getz talked to the media and they're saying, hey, he's got to figure it out. I don't think just the past 2 games are going to be enough for them to figure it out. I mean, Joey's flashing the last 4 games there, 9 for 18, a 500 batting average in Charlotte. I think they want to see that over 14 games being, maybe not a 500 batting average, but something to that kin where he is just dominating and turning on 98 mile per hour pitches and pulling them with authority. So I would just like to see how many prospects in the top 100 have a home run that's at 110 mile per hour exit velocity. He generates a really unique amount of power. I'm excited about Colson Montgomery. Not excited as we used to be, but he's better than Vinny Capra. This team could look more interesting with Colson at least a shortstop. I'd want to watch a little bit more if Colson was at shortstop and you had Chase and Colson playing next to each other, maybe Miguel Vargas. Ooh, that'd be fun. Chase at second, Colson at short, Miguel Vargas at third.
It's the makings of foundational infield.
And Ryan Noda at first. All right. And the one big thing, too, against 95 miles per hour, the one thing you want to see is him not swinging and missing as much. In the 272 size pitch sample before Arizona, a 35% whiff rate for Colson Montgomery. after Arizona, a 16.1% whiff rate, so nearly cutting that by 20%. Very nice. Borat impression still in?
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't think so.
That was great.
I don't know about that.
Bring it back.
Actually, surprisingly, never seen the movie. Hit the thumbs up button. Make sure you're subscribing to the CHGO Sports YouTube channel. We'll have Mark Carman joining us in just a second from Right Field to talk about the White Sox win against the Giants. But yeah, no, I've been extremely impressed with Colson post-Arizona, but I think you just want to see a little bit more of a sample for him. Let's talk a little bit about Kyle Teel. Kyle Teel today with his second 3-hit game in the past 3 games. I don't know how to say that, but on the 25th of June, he had 3 hits against the Diamondbacks, and then today, on the 29th of June, he had 3 hits against San Francisco. It was extremely fun to see him hit that double in the 7th inning, and I think you talked about the excitement that Kyle Teel plays with. The guy just has a ton of energy. Him being a former DJ, or at least having the nickname of DJ Base Monkey, I just think that this kid is kind of coming with such a bright-eyed and bushy-tailed. He's excited to be in the major leagues, and that's just all of that is exuding off of Kyle Teel. There's seemingly no anxiety off this kid. It's just kind of golden retriever puppy-esque excitement from Kyle Teel. I love him. He's been fun. Chase has a laid-back surfer mentality. It seems like he doesn't kind of have too many highs and lows.
There's a little yin and yang going on. I'm into what you're
I think Kyle Teel, if you had a tennis ball, you could trick him by putting it just simply behind your back.
There is an Edward Norton in Primal Fear innocence to him. The nice version of him. Oh, you haven't?
No.
Oh, people have seen that movie, know what I'm talking about. But yeah, Kyle Teel's racing up the charts quickly. Is one of my favorite White Sox of this season.
Yeah, no, he's been thrilling. So, it's a iffy situation that they're in because Teel is exciting, Caro's exciting. I think we saw, I saw Melissa tweet something, SoxMom72, say, I just wish that they would be able to work both of them, Caro and Teel, into the lineup because you love watching them so much. It just doesn't seem like they will be DH types. You could put them in that position right now, but I still don't see the viability of that. And these two are extremely young. Teal's 23, Caro's 22. I think they're both the youngest players on the White Sox right now, and I think they're both the youngest catchers in Major League Baseball. So what gets said was how they're managing the young catchers on the bench was if Caro has the day off, he should be spending all of that time knowing once he has the day off about prepping for the next game, and that I don't know if they really said this, but it seems like pretty much today's game really doesn't matter to you. This is all about Kyle Teel. You focus on game planning for tomorrow, and that is going to be your job. Maybe breaking that up and having it so you kind of focused for these young kids will keep them on track. It's been, up and down ride for both of them. Teel obviously has played only less than 50 at bats, so it's smaller sample size. But Caro behind the plate, he's been a little iffy. The game calling's been okay, but the actual receiving behind the plate's been iffy. The blocking's been a little bit iffy.
Nice pickoff at third yesterday, though.
Nice pickoff at third. Yep. He's had a couple nice moments, but he's also had moments, too, where he throws down to second, and the guy scores from the guy on third, runs home. So he's had some iffy moments. Teel, too, but Teel, it seems, especially Fegan, when he joined us a couple Thursdays ago, kind of confirmed that was they feel like Teel is a little bit more advanced than Caro right now when it comes to game calling. So I think you'll probably see a little bit more Teel for the rest of the year, at least catching and at bat-wise, over Edgar Caro, to the point where, again, should Caro just be sent down to AAA? You have Corey Lee, who's viable. Maybe Caro should be getting some work every single day at AAA. That is not the discussion. We have to take a break because we're going to be joined by Mark Carman from Right Field in just a second. We have to take a break here on the CHGO White Sox postgame show, presented to you by Bet365. We've all been there. It's the last leg of your parlay, the 9th inning. You just need a team to close out the save. And what happens? That stinky bullpen closer that's 38 years old with the rickety arm comes in, blows the save, blows up your parlay. You no longer have to worry about that. The HOF app is built to fix that. Started by 2 lifelong sports fans who also happen to be Ivy League grads, HOF makes parlay research smarter, faster, and data-driven. This not your buddy's group chat where he has a hunch on a thing that he is really sure about. This is data-driven analysis. Our listeners can get a 7-day free trial and 50% off their first month by downloading the HOF app or visiting hofbets.com and using code CHGO at checkout. Again, 7-day free trial and 50% off your first month with code CHGO. Head over to hofbets.com, enter CHGO, and you're all set. Finances can be messy and confusing. That's why I send all of my checks to my wife, and she's my personal CFO, and she deals with my money, so I don't have to. All that messy stuff. Thank you, my lovely, lovely wife. You might not be as lucky as me to have a personal CFO in your life, and that's why you should download Monarch Money. It gives you full visibility and control so you could stop earning and start growing right now, and it's more than Post-game show presented to you by Bet365. Joey, what happens when you click the publish button?
It brings you back live.
Amazing.
Sean.
We are back live here on the CHGO White Sox post-game show presented to you by Bet365. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary with our friends over at Bet365. Use code CHGO365 when you sign up. Real quick, Sox won on Saturday 1-0. That was their 25th one-run game that they've played in. They improved their record to 5-20. If you were wondering how a different Major League Baseball team would do, like the Giants, I believe they've played in 36 one-run games so far, so a little bit more than the White Sox, and they're like 19-16. So, if you had a little bit better bullpen and a little bit better hitting, maybe they'd be a better team. All right, let's go out to Rate Field and talk to CHGO Bears, Mark Carman. Hello, Mark.
Sean, hello. How are you? I can't believe you just spun a drop of negativity on this winning 2 out of 3, beating a 6 over 500 San Francisco Giants team. This is a celebration Sunday, my friend.
Oh, absolutely. No, I'm just saying, hey, it's only up from here. I was just more, being 5-20 in one-run games, I think is pretty tough to repeat. Like, you have to be real special to even be that bad, and I think it's only up from here from the Sox is what I'm saying. Mark Carman's joining us from Rate Field. He got some great sound from Cannon, Vassell, Teal, Venable. What stood out the most? Where do you want to start today?
So, the Kyle Teal story is exciting, right? This is now twice in 1 week that he's had 3 hits in a game, gets the big hit today. I think that pitch was a sweeper that he took down the right field line. That was sweet. But it's also that, when I asked Will Venable about what's impressed you the most about him, and he's talking about how he's going through the game plan and partnering with his pitchers and doing all the work behind the scenes to, be a decent, if not on the way to good, great catcher, wherever he can hit here. So, it just feels like a little bit of a game changer here. Left-handed hitting catcher who's also got a, pretty damn good arm back there too. Big part of the Garrett Crochet trade, which, Crochet's on his way to winning the Cy Young, but the White Sox are getting guys up and playing. So, hey, we'll take a win-win if that's how it works out, right? That's worse than, that's better than a lose-lose. So, hey, I'm trying to spin this one positive. I know what Sox fans miss Crochet. I miss Crochet. He was a great player.
Yeah, I gotta. What'd you mean by how about that Kyle Teal Crochet trade? Because I like Kyle Teal, but I would have liked Garrett Crochet on my team as well.
Well, yes, but okay, but that also you like the shortstop, right? I think you do. Are you not enjoying a Mydroth and his ability to pull up and kick his feet back and elude a would-be caught stealing? That was a fine play. Good gritty guy right in the middle of your top of your order, right? There's not a lot to hate there.
Absolutely. I have some concerns though. It seems like they feel like he's probably more of a second baseman than a shortstop. The stolen base was nice today, but he has gotten on base less as the season's gone on. I wonder if this is a guy that can be figured out because there isn't that much pop. I think the start of his career was a lot better than most were expecting. So I think that everyone's like, oh, well, he's figured it out. And he's going to be great. And it's like, well, he's got a 89 weighted runs created plus or OPS plus right now. It's like, he's got to really thread the needle. Mydroth's really a player that needs to thread the needle to be a successful Major League Baseball player. I think we saw him thread the needle at the start of his career.
Are you saying that his floor is Nick Madrigal too? Are we going that low?
Yeah, but he wasn't a first round. He wasn't like a top 5 pick, so it's a lot easier to forgive Mydroth than being, crappy Nick Madrigal.
No, right, I get it, but it's also like, look, I mean, you need when you trade a Garrett Crochet in the middle of his prime, you better be getting good players, right? I mean, that's and if it's only Kyle Teal to that point, then that's not going to be enough unless he turns into Joe Mauer, which I think that might be a little too tall, at least at this point to project, right? But the other guy.
Yeah, and I mean, if Montgomery's able to work out, like if Teal and Montgomery are able to work out, that will make the whole Crochet worth it. Yeah, Mydroth and Gonzalez are cherries on the top.
Right, and Montgomery, has got an 800 OPS down at Winston-Salem, 7 homers, 13 doubles, about 200 at bats. That's hey, you should be impressed by this research, Sean, that I'm pulling out here. Just going diving deep into my White Sox knowledge today. But look,
I mean, since you're so knowledgeable, what do you think of Braden right-handed stance versus his left-handed stance? Do you feel like he's getting a little bit too open on his left-handed stance and getting a little okay?
That's interesting. I will have to get back to you on that. I appreciate the fact that you're giving me work to do, and I will take all your homework assignments going forward. Here, but focusing on today for just a second. I mean, the Giants. Some media here walking out like wondering how is this team 6 games over 500 in the incredibly competitive NL West? Like maybe they're just not that good, and it's early in the season, and we'll actually find out sooner than later where teams are actually at. But it's a good weekend for the White Sox. Let's not take credit away. And I really the bullpen performance by Vassell, who apparently if you play the sound, he's I don't know if you know this, Sean. I didn't know this coming in today. He's a big Batman guy, and he's got his cape, and he was apparently wearing Batman coming in today. At the back end of the interview, he's talking about Batman. So dude that could come in with the bases loaded in big situations, get you a 6-4-3 ground out to end the inning in the biggest spot of the game, and then go on to close out the ball game. And then he's all talking about Batman. That's the type of closer that I'm looking for, type of late-inning reliever guy. I thought that was pretty sweet.
Yeah, I mean, he's a real interesting character just because he's got to be on the roster for all of 2025 being a Rule 5 pick, and he's been used in pretty much every single scenario, whether it's starting for 4 innings, being an opener for only 1, being a guy that, eats 3 innings at the end of a blowout, or is relied on to face Rafael Devers in a save situation in the 9th inning. He's really run the gambit, and, the fact that he's got a sub-3 ERA being put in all these scenarios speaks to him. So do you think is this like he's going to be solving crime like throughout Gotham or throughout, lower Wacker during his off days?
He did say that he might show up one day in full costume, that was on the table. So, I mean, look, I'm pro personality. Let's get some interesting dudes around here. And another thing that we've talked about, I think every time, I've popped on here, the White Sox clubhouse is just a different spot this year. And today we're coming in after the game. That music is banging. They're celebrating wins, which they should be. This is a young team trying to find their way, and you take 2 out of 3. There's no reason to not be celebrating. And it wasn't exactly a huge crowd out here today, but White Sox fans, a bunch of them on their feet today rooting on the team. And I'm like, okay, let's, hey, there's just the vibe is a whole lot better. But, they had to turn off the music so us media sloths could do our interviews. And, there's just a completely different vibe around the team this year as compared to last year.
Yeah, and a ton of people were there Saturday to see the 1-0 win as well. A ton of cheering fans as Taylor got the save on Saturday. Final thing, Cannon goes 3 innings. I think they said that he could have thrown 80 pitches. He ends up throwing 69 in his return from the IL. Any talk from Cannon specifically that stuck out to you, or Venable on the return? Seems like they're obviously going to weight him in, but it seemed like the start and the comeback went well.
Cannon said that it was a little bit challenging being on a pitch count coming into today, and Venable's point is that he had thrown a lot of pitches in a short period of time, so they basically wanted to get him out of there and not push him too far. But Jonathan Cannon, that's another guy with a lot of energy, man. He was. I don't know, seemed like a pretty happy dude after the ball game, despite the fact that he only got to throw 69 pitches today. But fully healthy, back. I would assume that he would build on today's performance. But Jonathan Cannon is there for your playing desire if you so choose to hear from today's White Sox starting pitcher, Sean.
Well, now I see the full Vassal quote from Merck. Ethan Katz referred to Vassal as Batman while talking to him post-game. So why Vassal called Batman, as J.R. Fegan asked Vassal, there's a mask back there. I just sometimes refer to myself as Batman. So, yeah, it doesn't even sound that confident.
No, I mean, I'm not out here every day, so I didn't, and I felt like I might have been missing a story about the Batman, so I didn't go dive deep on his Batmanness, but perhaps we can uncover more about this. Like when I was growing up, Sean, I was big into Underdog. That's a little bit before your time, but and I had the Underdog probably shirt, pajamas, the whole thing. But I outgrew that as I got older. Batman's still lingering here for Vassal, and I appreciate it. Tap into your youth, baby. Let's remember our childhood.
And I know if we brought you a blue cape to put on Poppy, that you'd be putting it on that dog immediately and calling it Underdog. So there you go.
Outstanding performance this weekend by Poppy was very strong. She was left for 7 hours yesterday for the Dave Matthews Band concert, which I somehow got roped into going to. And Poppy just came strong, just made it through. And 1 a.m, she had great energy. And shout out to Poppy. Thank you.
Did you have a favorite DMB song from Saturday?
No.
Okay. All right.
Maybe.
Makes sense.
I guess Crash was kind of fun. Like I don't think you have time for my whole Dave Matthews Band.
Oh, we do.
Around. Well, okay. Well, I got to tell you, the amount of people that go to Northerly Island and what is it called, Huntington Pavilion or whatever it is. I mean, there wasn't a seat open in that place. And, security was tight. Carman likes to move up occasionally at a concert, just get a different feel every now and then. And they were on their game out there. I got to, shout out to the ushers who were taking care of those of us who perhaps were not where we were supposed to be at all times yesterday. It was a strong performance. You want to gander a guess here? How much do you think? And by the way, I'm on a 54-day till I'm 52 years old, August 11th. No alcohol. No, Sunnyside is legal. Thank you, Sunnyside. Appreciate you. No alcohol. No desserts. So thank you very much,
Joey.
And I wanted to be fresh for today's report. So the point is that I did buy my lovely girlfriend partner Jaqueline. I got her a beverage from the local Huntington Bake thing. It's got some IPA. You want to gander a guess as to what that cost yesterday, Sean? Give me a guess.
$17.99.
Keep going.
Really? $24.99.
There you are.
Really?
Yeah, and I just
the
looked.
Tall Boy?
Yeah. It was a Tall Boy. Bud Light was coming in at 16, but this IPA, which I would have gotten over the $25 IPA. Please stop doing what I did yesterday. Don't buy these things. It's insanity. That's insane. That's straight insane. And like people are, there was a lot more water purchased yesterday. I'm assuming that people just wanted to stay hydrated as they were sunny-siding it up, which was a beautiful thing.
Yeah, the Lollapalooza trick that we learned when we were 16. I obviously wasn't drinking back then, but the kids that were, they had Camelback backpacks that had water in them, and then you just fill that with vodka or whatever, and you're hammered by 7 p.m. because that's fun. I don't know.
That's a good job. That's a good job
Carm,
right there.
Appreciate the Dave Matthews report and the White Sox report. We're going to listen to that Vassal sound and try to figure out what type of personality this guy is. Mark Carman of CHGO Bears joining us from right field. Appreciate it.
Thanks, John.
Bye, Carm. All right, we got to see what Mike Vassal is talking about. Why is this guy referring to himself as Bruce Wayne? Why don't you play the Vassal stuff here, Joey, and we'll roll off after that.
Let's check it out.
Oh, geez. Now we got Joey doing impersonations.
Definitely didn't get any easier. Like obviously adrenaline. But I think another thing too is like coming in for series win opportunity as well is pretty big. So, knew what I had to do and get as many outs as possible. And
It's the trust to come into that situation and try to get you guys out of it. That's got to feel good coming from the manager.
Yeah, 100%. I think, anytime you're put in that spot, it feels good. But also as a whole, just the pitching staff today. And I think what we did over the series is really, really impressive. And all the time we put in with reports and working on our craft, executing pitches was great. So.
What's the confidence with yourself and this bullpen needs to happen? It's starting to show.
Yeah, I mean, I would like to think every time I go out there I can have the most confidence as possible. Obviously, this game's not easy, so I think being able to get back to the basics and know what works for you when you're in a jam or to get you out of any situation is important. And I'm still learning those things, but I think day by day, week by week, those things are starting to come along. So
Is the stash new?
this is very new. This was about 20 minutes before the game. I was going to shave my face, and then I did, and then I just left it because I was going to miss the anthem. So
is it staying?
Now I have to keep it, for a little bit. I didn't really get many compliments on it, but it's going to stay for a little bit.
What were you thinking of the double play?
That was big. I think in those situations as well, it's like I know whose runners they are, and it always feels good to pick a teammate up. So to be able to come in there, get a double play, 2 pitches, don't even work along at bat at all, it's big.
I think the last time you pitched was probably more like a starter, and then you get dropped into the bases loaded.
Yeah.
Is it the same approach at this point?
I would say it's the same plan. I just think it's a different situation where you're trying to maybe not be more fine, but a little bit. Honestly, I would say more on the attack than usual. I think even with 2 strikes, like I don't want to dance around the strike zone as much. Like I really want to get the ball in play, on the ground. Easy outs, the more that team can work in at bat, that's when you get in trouble, and they're patient, they'll get on base, and then they'll have one big swing. So, yeah.
What has it been like working with Kyle behind the plate?
He's been great. Every time I've thrown to him, he's just getting better and better and learning pitcher strengths, and he was thrown into, a tough situation to have to learn everyone's stuff. I hadn't thrown to him in a really long time, so but he's great. He's listening, he's communicating, he's sharing his thoughts, and that's been really important.
Why did Ethan call you Batman?
Call me. Yeah, there's a mask back there. I just sometimes refer to myself as Batman. So, yeah.
Do you bring the mask to the bullpen?
I don't bring it to the bullpen, but I bring it everywhere on the road and everywhere. So, the mask stays with me.
Do you have a cape?
I don't have a cape. I don't have a full costume yet, but maybe someday I'll walk in here fully dressed as Batman.
Until that day.
I would love for him to go full Ben Wyatt and just come out in an entire lifelike Dark Knight head-to-toe Batman suit.
Chase Mydroth is a great Robin. It's good casting. Makes sense.
Just a little. I can see that.
Physical features, a little pesky, a little frisky.
Okay. I'm just trying to cast Joker.
Will Venable, great
Scared.
smile.
I don't know about that.
Oh, you need the
He's
personality
he's
to match
nice.
the. Yeah,
I feel like honestly, Will Venable would be your Alfred.
Yeah.
John's saying which Batman though? It's definitely not Adam West. I mean, Vassal's around my age, so I think if he's picking a Batman, it's Christian Bale.
I would agree.
I think that those movies like were pretty untouchable for my era. If you're watching Batman, like those really did the series justice. So yeah, I think I'd go probably Ben Affleck for him.
Jerry's the Joker. I just hit it.
Oh, there you go. Jerry might be the Penguin.
Jerry.
We got to wrap up the show. This show has been brought to you by Bet365. Use code CHGO365 when you sign up. Hit that like button if you haven't already. Sox win 5-2. Thank you to Joey Christopoulos for joining the show or producing the show. Thank you to Mark Carman for joining the show. I'm Sean Anderson. We'll talk to you on Tuesday before the Sox take on the Dodgers. We'll see you then. Goodbye.
We all silly like the mayor.